I come by your house and shake your hand and tell you what I really think. But tell you the truth, there's no sense of bringing, and we do speak against bad bills, even Republican bills, but you always put it a little bit more politely than if you were in private. And we could kill a lot more bad legislation if people could clearly speak their minds. But that's not available to us. Again, it's all online. Staff and...
Why is that not available to you? Speak your mind.
Well, you can, but it often hurts people's feelings when you do it in public. And
oh, so that's why you come to the caucus room.
Yeah, well...
I see. Okay. I'm a little slow.
No, well, the caucus room used to be, when it was closed, a place to tell people that they'd really gotten off the track.
Got a bad deal.
Yep. Now it's really become a rubber stamp. And, you know, a lot of things in society lose their...
And why is that?
Because it's on camera.
Oh.
It's on camera. When it used to be closed, people felt a little bit safer to speak their mind. Now they don't want to have to, because information is then shared with people that disagree with you, and you're pulverized by, you know, so let's say you don't agree with a spending bill for education. And maybe none of us do, but the education system does. You'll spend the rest of your week fighting people off in your office over a comment made over a bill where you're just going to vote no, and you made no headway.
Haven't you seen those spy movies where they take the picture of the room and they put it over the camera?
Yeah, yeah. And
doesn't work that way.
There's no one, including myself, bright enough to get away with it.
But sometimes you will get hard questions if a bill is questionable. Some of the other members say, well, let me ask you this. It might not be critical, but you know that you might have a problem.
You do have members that, again, do not understand their own bills. And, oh, it's just terrible to watch them stand up against questions because they create more confusion than they answer. And so it just gets worse and worse. And by the end, there's the bar. You know, runs all along. Staff sits in the front chairs, but then it's a big caucus, they'll overflow. And then the rest of the lobbyists. Now, lobbyists can be awful. They really can. There are some lobbyists who you don't want to depend on for information. But in general, lobbyists are the cliff notes of politics. If you depend on cliff notes to pass every test, eventually you will fail. And that is the same thing for someone who's in public service. But they can be very helpful. And a very good lobbyist will come in and say, look, John, I'm being paid. This is why I think. This is why it's a good bill. But here, you better make sure you understand, here's the downside. This group and that group, who I know you like and support, don't want this bill. You know, they think this, this, and this. Here's where they're wrong. Call them up, and they'll explain it the exact same way I did, and you'll know they're wrong. You know, that's a good lobbyist. A bad lobbyist will say, everybody loves this bill, you're going to please sponsor it for me, so on and so forth. You get in the first committee and you got 8,000 people that signed up against it, and that guy and his sister signed up for it. You know, and you go, well, what happened to all this good feeling that you said this was going to create? Well, I forgot to mention that it also, you know, is about kicking kittens, you know. So you really can't depend on those. So anyway, very good room to do, especially on the budget, if we would have had an opportunity in the last time to make some changes, is the caucus room, to really change some hearts. But you have to be crafty about it because it is on camera, and no one wants their bill challenged by another member in public. Now, it has to be done at some point, you know, but this has not become the place to do it as much as it
Is it required by law that it be that open?
Yes. Well, it is now. We have open meeting laws, but we aren't really subject to it. But no one, the press is so hard on us about all this transparency. And tell you the truth, this transparency is good when you have systems that are easily corrupted. At this point, it's gotten so transparent, you really can't ever speak your mind.
What happens with the video? Is that live on like some cable network someplace?
Yep, it's on live on a cable network, and it's attached to our website. You can watch every single caucus and every single bill from all last session if you felt like.
So you're saying, John, this used to be the smoke-filled room where the Phoenix Fathers got together and made all the laws?
It used to be a place where they decided what they were going to rally behind and what they weren't.
Right.
Now that discussion doesn't happen except in even smaller groups down in the basement. There's conference rooms all over the building, but we got to keep going or we'll be here until midnight.